Hello.
Hi, everyone.
Thank you for joining us for EaseDrop, going where the conversation takes us. Thank you. We intend to have thought provoking conversations about relationships, life, career, and personal development. Today, of course, you have me, Evelyn. Christina's joining us. Maybe one day you'll get to see her lovely face, but not today. And we also have joining us Lindsay Jones,
Hi,
who
Lindsay.
Hey, Janae, Christina.
so I'm gonna let Lindsay tell you a little bit about what she does, but she is phenomenal. She's she works a job, she has a husband, she has a child, has one on the way, and then she has her own business. But I'm gonna again, hello Lenore, let you Lindsay tell them about what you do.
Hi, everyone. My name is Lindsay Jones. I'm the owner of Organized Chaos Design Company. My business helps female entrepreneurs that also have a 9 to 5 build their side hustles. So, as Evelyn already said, I do have a 9 to 5. I'm active duty Army, but when I do get off from work, I use my spare time to help those female side hustlers through brand identity design, which includes logos, websites, and helping them figure out who they're selling to. So that's pretty much in a nutshell what I do on the side.
Okay. So I thought it would be great to have Lindsay with us today because what we're talking about is, does pursuing a career interfere with relationships? And of course, it doesn't sound like it does for Lindsay because she's in the military and has all that other stuff going on. Um, but I guess what really got me going was listening to an interview with Oprah and Shonda Rhimes, and they both made it very clear that while they were expected to get married and have kids, and that seemed to have been the expectation growing up, they didn't want to be married. They didn't want that kind of life for themselves. And then you have Tracy Ellis, who seems to be the poster child for whatever nowadays, um, who also says she is choosing to be single. So the question came to me is, are these women choosing to be single because um, relationships interfere with them being able to be successful? And Lindsay, I'm going to ask you something. I noticed that on your website, you talk about investing in yourself. So, does
Uh-huh.
investing in yourself mean you have to make sacrifices other places?
Yeah, I would definitely say it does. Far as invest, not just monetarily, but you have to invest your time. And sometimes when you're juggling so much, you feel, as women, a lot of times we feel that we're not doing what we're supposed to do or what we're thought we're supposed to do as a woman, as a wife, as a mother. If you start taking time away from your family or your kids or your husband and you start putting it into yourself. So yeah, it's definitely investing not just money, time, effort. You gotta sometimes you gotta be selfish, and I think that as women, a lot of times we choose not to be, just because we're trained to think that we're supposed to give everybody all this time or everyone all our resources and not giving it back to ourselves.
Right. So Tanisha Harris is asking how to learn about your program. And Tanisha, I'm going to make sure Lindsay gives you some information before she gets off on how she can help you brand yourself. But Lindsay, I guess that's kind of the point. Like you're saying, when you get involved and you want your own business or you want to climb up that corporate ladder, you want to do some things that requires more than just clocking in and clocking out. When you're
Uh-huh.
a mother, when you're a wife, then yeah, you feel some kind of way about that. Like you're being selfish. You said you have to be selfish sometimes, but that doesn't always feel good. So I'm wondering if some women have just decided, you know what, I'm not going to deal with that. I just won't get married. I won't
Uh-huh.
do it.
Yeah, I think a lot of women, and it's funny that we're talking about this topic. One of the ladies, the young ladies that work for me, I want to see, she's like 22. And she was like, she came to me, she was like, Sergeant, can I ask you a question? When did you think it was a good time with being in the military and getting pregnant? And she was like, it always seems like I have to compete or I have to, it's a good old boys club. I have to always stay one step ahead. But if I get pregnant, then I'm going to be behind my peers. So when is a good time to plan it? And I was like, Frozen, you can't plan it. There's always going to be a race to run. So you either going to have to decide, I want to have kids and I want to be pregnant now, or you're going to have to decide, I'm going to keep trying to stay in the race. So it's always a constant battle between trying to climb the corporate ladder, climb the military ranks, or whatever you're doing. There's always going to be that battle between if now is the time or if I should put my family first or what do I do?
Right.
Is usually what the question is.
So, Lindsay, Tanisha's saying, I think it's hard to balance being a business owner because sometimes people want you to only focus on them and not your success. So, Lindsay, I don't know how often you are asked about this when people call you and they're saying, look, I want to do my side hustle, but I don't have a lot of time. So, how do you find time?
So I base my business hours off of my daughter's dance schedule. So when she's in dance, that's when I take calls. I also only take so many clients. I plan it out for the year. So at the end of the year, I plan out how many clients I'm going to take. I take into account if I want to take a month off, then 1 month I might have to take one extra client. So I plan it all out, plan out the dates, and from there, that's how I decide how I make all the pieces of the puzzle fit.
So you schedule your business time like an actual job, like you're clocking in and clocking out.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I want to ask a question.
Okay.
So you have to manage everything and you have to make the puzzle pieces fit, but where do you come in? I think that's the scariest thing for me. So I really like hearing you talk about how you do it because I'm scared because I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it. How do I balance it? I'm a perfectionist. I want to be great at work. I want to be great as a mom. I want to be great as a wife. I want to be able to do it all and I want to be great at it, but I feel like I know I like having me time right now. I know I even have to squeeze that in. So to add in entrepreneurship in a family, where do you come in?
So I also struggle with perfectionism.
Mm-hmm.
Done is better. I have to get in that mindset that done is better than perfect. So get it done or whatever I'm working on. I have set a goal. Like I'm gonna get this done this week, and then I make sure I check that off the list. I'll schedule, let's say, a massage or something, and I'll check that me time off the list. And then sometimes me time doesn't have to be. A lot of times we think, well, me time means only take this 2 hour bath and drink a glass of wine. It doesn't have to be that in depth. Sometimes it's just taking a 20-minute shower versus a 10-minute shower and just being along with your thoughts while you're in the shower. So it's just taking those little moments. Sometimes it's driving a car, listening to a podcast. It's just taking in those small moments where you get to be by yourself while you're juggling being a mom or your 9 to 5 or whatever else you have going on.
So how do you keep from getting burnt out? Because what if that 20 minutes that you thought that you needed to take this week, you really needed an hour, but you only clocked in for 20 minutes. So how do you make that work? How do you keep from getting burnt out?
She said boundaries.
Oh.
So boundaries for yourself or boundaries with others?
Yeah. Boundaries with others. Learning to tell people no. Because sometimes we get so wrapped up into wanting to, especially with being an entrepreneur, like Evelyn said, people want you to just focus on them. I got boundaries. So these are my hours and these are when I'm going to talk to you. And I don't care if you're on the West Coast. if it's after a certain time on the East Coast, you're just not going to hear from me. So it's boundaries and letting people know that and sticking to them, not being, because if you go flexible one time, then somebody's going to expect you to do it again. So boundaries is how I keep from getting burnt out.
Yeah. Now, Tanisha says, I have an alarm that I set on my phone for self care each day so I don't forget. So she definitely getting hers in.
Mm-hmm.
She gotta get it in.
Alarm, stop everything.
So, okay, Lindsay. So I hear you saying, okay, you try to schedule things around your daughter's dance. You set boundaries, and you have certain times when you are going to work, right?
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Um, so and you're married.
Mm-hmm.
So my question is, how are there not times? Because I didn't hear you say, and I hope this question is okay.
Yeah.
I hear you say that you factor in like relationship time because I think for some, I don't know if it's about finding the right person that's going to be supportive, going to be understanding, or do you have to find somebody that's as busy as you are? Because if you're trying to get that self time for yourself, trying to invest the time you need to grow a business, how how do you factor in a relationship without them feeling like they're ignoring you? I mean, you're
Well, with
ignoring them.
Illinois him, so with him, he's really he like a lot of self time for himself.
Oh.
So it's kind of good that we like when I'm working, that's his time where he'll like play his Xbox or talk to his friends. But I don't do and then I don't do so many hours throughout the week on my, and plus we work together, so that kind of that's we can go to lunch. A lot of
Okay.
times we just eat lunch together, so we work in the same building. But we find those little times. It doesn't have to. Once again, usually not something long. Like we usually do a weekend on a breakfast on the weekend. So like Saturday or Sunday, we'll just go to breakfast by ourselves, or we'll go to lunch like once a week since we work in the same building. But that's how we find that time to spend together. Not only when I'm working, it's not that I'm always working, he's always doing, and he doesn't have anything to do. But we find that time that we both have nothing going on.
Hmm. So,
We're giving you the reality versus the fantasy because I feel like as a single person, us ladies look for a man, we look for like certain qualities that when you talk, they seem like those qualities don't even really matter. It's like you want them to be this, you want them to be that. But in the real world, when you are ambitious and you are working your regular job and you have a family and you're also pushing to own your own and, stand amongst the crowd, stand out from the crowd, then it's like, to me now, it sounds like I need to reconsider other things that I would want in my man when we start to talk about a schedule. Because you have this idea of, okay, I want him to be this and I want him to be that. Or am I making sense?
So
You,
like the IG relationships, we're like out at the beach and they're doing this
yeah,
and they're
yeah.
traveling the world. Yeah, everybody's relationship isn't like that. For us, have we traveled together? Yes, but it's more so because we're both military, and he may be at one place and I can just fly over, and that's us out somewhere. Or I may be at one place and he'll fly over, and we do a little vacation for like a day or two. That's how we found time to spend time together. But we also
Mm-hmm.
get to see different places. Like we went to St. Louis and went to a concert when I lived in Missouri. But then the Army sent me to Tennessee, so we spent the weekend in Nashville. Like we spent time together in different places. It's just not. I guess it's not the IG fantasy like people try to make it out to be. But you find that time to make.
yeah.
To
I
make it
want
a
to just read what Miss
okay.
Harris wrote before it moves up and I can't see it. She said, I honestly don't understand how to balance a positive relationship. I had a partner I was in business with because we were both photographers, and I hoped that we could be a power team. But I realized he didn't want me to be successful because his focus was only business. She says, I am so happy to be single and I'm in a relationship with starting my business and being successful.
Can couples successfully own a business together? Can you separate wifey?
On paper, we both own Organized Chaos Design Company. So I am the CEO and he's the CFO. So we own it together, but I'm the face that you see. I'm the person that people interact with. When it comes to, I do talk to him about different, let's say, business ideas because I'm so close to it. Sometimes I need somebody that's not as close to it to be like, all right, that's crazy. That doesn't make sense. So yes, I think they can. It just depends on the boundaries. I know my lane. He knows his lane.
And I guess that's what I was getting ready to say. I think maybe sometimes if the roles are clearly defined, because Tanisha mentioned that if her business with her other, well, ex, I guess, um, felt like a competition. And I know when I was with someone and we tried to kind of do a business, it really is. I guess for him, it started to become his. It's like mine, and I'm the head. So, and then it's like just do what I tell you, or so yeah, that really didn't work for me. So it's like all of his time was going into his business, and I hate to say this, but sometimes I feel like, and I don't know if this is a societal thing or this is history, where men feel like they can put all their time into a business. They can travel, they can go out of town, they do whatever they want to.
Mm-hmm.
And it hasn't been that way. It hasn't been like that for women. And I think the other thing for women is that, like you said, if you have a family, if you have a husband, if you have these other committed relationships, then I don't know that it's as easy to just pick up and go and do what you need to do to grow your business.
Yeah,
I
women.
would say, I agree. It's a societal thing. But the funny thing is, usually women run the household. Like we're in charge of the groceries. We're in charge of getting the bills paid. Like traditionally, men would go work. It was men working and women staying at home. But the women would do all running the household, which is essentially like running a business. You're taking the kids here. You're doing all this other stuff. Make sure the dog's taken care of. Make sure everything, all the pieces are fitting together. So because we were in that role for so long, we get nervous because it's outside the norm or the comfort zone of being able to just put all your eggs in the basket of the business. But when you think about it, normally we was running households as a business, just not thinking of it in that way.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, I like that. I like that analogy. Let me say this. Miss Jones says, I think it's possible to have it all, just not at once, unless you have lots of paid help. Anybody who is the jack of all trades is probably the master of none. Just
This is
my
true.
just my opinion. And again, I think, kind of back to what you were saying, Lindsay, I guess we were business women, just didn't realize how much we actually knew. We were just doing what we were told to do. I mean, and today it's still the same. And I was thinking, like, where did this rule come from that the goal in life is to be married? You understand what I mean? It's like relationship topics seem to be like the most popular topics, because it's like everybody's looking for that significant other. And I don't know if that's starting to change, because I did find some statistics that says that well, I don't know where I wrote it down, but women owned businesses are growing at an alarming rate, while there's more and more single people living alone, and less people getting married. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, so I don't know if people are thinking that it has to be one or the other. So if I'm going to reject that sexist kind of thing, where a woman is supposed to get married, find a husband, take care of him. If I'm going to reject that, then I have to reject it all. Meaning, well, I have to focus only on me and my business and be successful. That means I don't have time. I don't have time for a man, or I don't know. Or is there something else to it? Is it if I'm going to be a successful woman, I don't want a man there because I want to be able to say I did it, or I don't know. I think there's a lot of different ways to look at this.
I do too. I think it can go both ways, like you said. Women, we're so used to having to be a certain way, so then we're afraid, and then we feel like we can't have it all. Like Miss Jones said, to have it all, you got to be able to pay people. And it also comes into working in your zone of genius. Because we're women, we are so used to doing so much all the time. When it comes to our business, we feel like we got to do everything. But you don't have to do everything. Once you get to the point where you can hire some help, I'm not against hiring help. And if that's within your budget, then hire some help. I was talking to Kennedy, my daughter, the other day, and I was telling her that a lot of times we talk about, as a society, we want all this money, especially as a Black culture. We want money, we want generational wealth. But when people start making money to be able to hire help, let's say hire a nanny or make money to hire a cleaning lady to come, is now you're being bougie. And I know this is all off topic, but you're being bougie.
Mm-hmm.
But this is what we're making money for, to be able to afford those comforts and be able to do the things that we want to do. That's in our zone of genius.
I wonder if it's kind of people label it kind of as bougie because it's like, wait a minute, you're a woman. You're supposed to take care of your own child. How dare you pay somebody else to take care of your child? As a woman, you're supposed to be keeping your house clean. How dare you pay somebody else to do that? Ms. Harris says people make you feel like you are not successful if you are not married or not in a relationship. And I wonder if that just goes back to historically what women are supposed to do, like while we're here. We're here to have babies and serve our men. So I don't know. So it's a shame that sometimes we have to, well, we don't have to, but maybe think we have to choose, should I be in a relationship or can I be successful?
Yeah, I know. I feel like
it happens across the board, in all, especially I would say, especially from the military side, I see it more because most women growing, as I was coming through the ranks, most of the women that had the most ranks, either they were divorced with no kids or they were never married with no kids. It was perceived that you can't have both. And so, and it's more so because there's more men than women in the military, but there's also this perception that, well, she's not going to be dedicated to the job once she become pregnant, or she's X, Y, and Z because she's a mom. They don't see you for all the work that you do or all the education that you have. They just assume, like, I hate wearing my pregnancy uniform to work. I squeezed into my regular uniform for the longest.
Well, you're not squeezing into it now.
I hate into it now. But I just hated it because people just look at you differently and they expect less. But I'm still going to give you my 100% while I'm at work, pregnant or not. So.
Janae, were you saying something?
I think I was going to say something along the lines of, I feel like I have been working a whole lot in my 20s. Like, I've been going to school, like I've been hustling. People have called me the jack of all trades because I've just done a lot. I've chased my dreams. Like, I have just really been focused. And then it's just like I look up and, ooh, I'm 29. Like, oh my gosh, I'm 29. Like I'm kind of freaking out because like I know I can. I can just go get a husband, but now I got to do the process. Like I got to go through the process, and I got to not focus. I'm trying to balance. Now this has become a job to me, like kind of, but not really. Like as far as like working on myself and just preparing to be a wife, like in those ways, and just thinking about, like my personal growth and my journey. I feel like that has become. I don't want to say it's a job, but I have had to make time for it in my life to get ready, because I know that eventually it's something that I will maybe want. I've been back and forth. I'm not going to lie. There was a point in time that I was anti-marriage. I was like, no, I don't think so. I didn't want to be tied down. Like, no, I don't. I like my freedom. I like to have my say so. And then like when I got to college and around other, other girls and just focusing on my real friends, like, and making that a big point in my life, they wanted it. So somewhere along the lines, I wanted it too. Because I don't know, I guess it's kind of like the thing to do. It's like you're winning if you get this over here. And that's just me telling the truth. Like,
I'm sorry. When you say this over here, what do you mean? Like the husband, the child, the family? What do you mean?
focus. Like I had tunnel vision on like, okay, this is where I'm going, this is what I do. Not so much on, relationships and dating. And honestly, I feel like dating is kind of new to me. And that's really sad. Like it's 29. But because I really have been focused, like I know, I know how to go after what I want. And so that's what I've done up until this point. But now it's like, well, now I have to play catch up.
Yeah, it really does feel like you have to choose, and I don't mean, well, yeah, choose. Do you want to be in a relationship? Do you want a family? Because and I think about it. So of course I had Christina when I was 23. So I'm just finishing. I'm graduating college, and I'm 6 weeks pregnant, right? So then my whole mindset changed. Now I'm a mother and I got to do this. And then you want certain things for your kids, which means you have to sacrifice your time and your money for them. And I look up and I was like, what, 38? And then I decide, you know what? I can't do what I'm doing all my life. So I sacrificed 2 years to go to graduate school so I could do it and just finish, because I didn't want to prolong it going part time. But in doing so, you know, I was away from my kids. I had to go to class. The internship that I found was second shift, so I was working with like 3 to 11 or something. Um,
Okay.
and I think it was, kind of hard for them, and I know it was, a little bit difficult for me, but I felt like it was something that I had to do. But again, it was like you got to choose. So some people may say I balanced it, but I still feel like, I guess what you were saying earlier, Lindsay, not feeling like a good mom, or like I was falling down on my job as a mother because I
Uh-huh.
wasn't there.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, Lindsay, I thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome. You're welcome anytime.
So, Miss Harris wanted to know how.
I was trying to find the thing on Facebook.
I was going
I was
to.
gonna type it in the comments, but I don't see it.
You can't see it.
Uh-huh.
I was gonna. I'll type it for you. Um,
Okay.
what is it?
Is my website is organized
Wait a minute.
chaos
Go slow. Organized chaos. Okay.
design company.
Is that the whole word company?
Yes.
Okay.
.com.
No spaces, right?
No spaces.
And I'll put your name, Lindsay Jones or Tremel Jones.
Tremel
Tramel
MEF. Yep.
hyphen Jon.
Hyphen Jones. Yep.
Okay, got it.
Alrighty. Well, thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate it. It was fun. It was nice.
Yeah, I really appreciate the time. I know you're approaching your last days with that baby,
Yeah.
so you're probably tired and moving. But again, I really appreciate you taking the time to join
Yes,
us.
thank you for coming on. Like you really have helped me because I really don't ever get to hear the inside scoop on what marriage looks like. Like I only know the film guess or imagine. So like that really opened my eyes a little bit.
Yeah, you're welcome. Anytime. Anytime.
All right.
Well, all right. Well, I guess I go to bed now.
Okay. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Christina, I don't know if you saw it, but Miss Jones had a comment for you. It says, "It's human to want to have someone to share your life with. You are not playing catch up. You are bringing self knowledge to a relationship that younger people who get married don't have, and you have lived. Be easy on yourself."
That's very
Well,
true. That's very true. Like there's been so much growth. Like what I knew at 23, oh my gosh, like I probably would not have had a successful marriage. I could probably almost guarantee it because I wasn't ready. And I guess that's the thing. Like I guess when it's time, I'll be ready. And thank you for that reminder. Yes, I do need to be easy on myself. Sometimes like I feel easy, and then other times I'm just like, oh my gosh, am I doing the right thing, or am I just too chill about this? You know?
yeah. But you know what, Christina? I told somebody one time, um, and I heard someone who actually got married like her early to mid 20s. She said she felt like when you get married that young, that you really don't know enough about yourself in life to be in a relationship with someone else. And there are some marriages I think that make it, um where they with the high school sweethearts or whatever, but then it seems like they start to hit their 50s or whatever, and then they find themselves separated or divorced, looking for themselves because they didn't take the time to get to know themselves then. And so I don't know if the balance maybe is to live your life, develop who you are, figure out who you are while you're working on your career and you're establishing yourself professionally. And then you start to look for that significant other and having a family. Now, at what point that is, what age that is, I don't know, because as women, we only have a certain amount of time where we can
Tick,
have
tick,
those
tick, tick,
babies.
tick.
That clock is ticking.
I mean, really, you can't say that's I think that's the whole point. You can't wait and say, well, let's just see when. Let's just see when I develop my career may not hit where I want it to be until I'm 40, until I'm 45. And am I trying to have a child at that age? No. I I feel like they say when you have a baby a young, you got the energy to run with it. Like I can already feel that now. I feel a little age hitting. Like the way I play with kids ain't the same way I play with kids now. Like, it's just I love them, I do, but at 45, I know that's not going to be something that I want to pursue. And so
So
I don't know what I'm gonna think at 45, like getting older. I'm probably gonna want to have some sort of children around me or some sort of like, family of my own.
I had a thought and I forgot what. Oh, thank you, Miss Jones. That's along the lines of what I was thinking. So she said, freeze them eggs and live. So that takes me to your what's your girl, Gabrielle Union,
Oh,
and some of these other um, professional actresses and people, women who have these careers, singing careers, acting careers, whatever, that actually have other people to carry the babies for them.
no,
So, would you consider that a
no,
way of balancing? So,
no.
while I'm getting my career together, I'm doing my thing and I freeze my eggs or whatever, or my body can no longer take it, so I get somebody else to do it. Unfortunately, I think some people are judged. I can remember when Gabrielle Union had her baby, and well, somebody had her baby. Somebody had her baby, and she was in. Looks like she was in a hospital bed, holding the baby as if she had just given birth. And some people had a problem with that. because they was like, she didn't actually have that baby. What's she doing laying up in the bed? But she was bonding with her baby. And you and I had kind of talked about this before off air, so to speak, about how families are changing and I think it's because more and more women are more focused on their careers and professionalism and owning businesses now. Women are doing things now that they weren't doing in the past, right? So women at this point doesn't feel like they have to have somebody, that they have to be in relationships, or at least they postpone it, right? And then there's some women that have decided they don't want children. So I think family is starting to look really different. I even read something somewhere. There's a name for it. I can't remember what it is now. But in the article, it says that the gay community kind of started it. So like when you have two males and they want a child, they get with a friend. They say, "Hey, we want a baby. Will you have this baby for us?" And they were saying that more and more people um, are doing that. Even if I'm single and I decide I want a child, but I haven't
Mhm.
found that significant other, but I
Right.
got this great male friend, who's intelligent, healthy and whatever. Then I say, "Hey, look, I don't want us to be together, but can you help me have a baby?" And then there's an arrangement around that. So things are really, really changing.
That's so scary because think about it. Like, what will let's take a trip into the future where people don't even know. You have to explain to children what marriage is because it don't exist anymore. How do the men, and then the females are the ones at the top of the ladders? We're running all the businesses. We're doing, the roles have reversed. How do our interaction with men like what is going to happen? How are we going to do this? Like,
Now Megan
how
say
do men and women interact then?
you can adopt, because I'm sure there's still gonna be some women out there that want their men. They're gonna want that. I just can't see marriage becoming extinct where there's no marriage at all anymore. I just can't see that happening. And I'm just gonna say, for religious reasons, I'm not going to get all into that, but for religious reasons, I just don't see that happening. But I think there's more and more people that's open to other ways of looking at having a family when the traditional family doesn't work for them. Whether it's because um, I just couldn't find a suitable mate, or because I put my career first, and maybe committed.
Hello?
No, and then the other thing is, I often hear how professional women or successful women, and then we have to define what success is, but successful professional women, a lot of them are single. Then the question is that because they're choosing to be single? Is that because men are truly intimidated? Or is that because they can't find an equal? I mean, why is that? So of course, I don't really expect you to have the answer, but it's just something to think about. So is it because pursuing a career truly interferes with relationships? Or I don't know. Ms. Jones says, "I agree there may be different types of, but may always be there."
I don't know if we can fight. I hear what you're saying on that, and I'm just sitting over here thinking about, because I got stuck on tradition, because tradition is
I'm sorry, traditional marriages? Is that
tradition
what
in
you
itself seem like it's becoming extinct. And whether we like it or not, because right now, like, think about it, we're going through the coronavirus.
said? Okay.
Were you able to celebrate Christmas traditionally last year? I mean, there's so many things that is just changing and evolving, whether you like it or not, that tradition is even being messed with, and even the way people think, and their minds have expanded. And then people who were so strong in tradition, like old school strong in tradition, they're gonna get older and they're gonna die out, and then there's gonna be the generations behind them. And these generations are getting more open and open-minded than ever before. So I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know. That I guess that is something to think about, because I don't think but if it's going to be easy to not go back to some of those traditions, because um, I think some of the things we did differently. Like, of course, this Thanksgiving, it was just me, you, and Ivana, and that wasn't too bad. I just never could have imagined um, a holiday, something like Thanksgiving, without everybody surrounding us. But it actually was not bad. And I also noticed, as my siblings' children, as they got older and they started to move away and have kids of their own, then they weren't always coming back home. So now my
Mm-hmm.
siblings are
Right.
traveling other places.
Mm-hmm.
So that makes it hard for us to have that traditional um, holiday.
Mm-hmm.
So now they're creating new traditions within their own family with their children. So yeah, it could be different.
Miss Jones said something that was interesting. She's bringing us right back to it, and she's right. She said, as long as divorce is legal, marriage exists. It's a $1 billion industry, and she's right. I forget it is a business deal for a lot of
I
people.
know. Can y'all help me understand?
What
What do you mean?
marriage being a business deal?
Mm-hmm.
That's your partner. This is your person you're gonna live with. You have to make decisions together. You have to operate together. You have to run this family together. You have to run this house, pay these bills together. It's a business. And I don't know, it's just
Right.
the
But she
reality.
says $1 billion. Where's the money? That's the piece I'm trying to figure out.
In my bank account.
So I wonder if it's like when you have people that marry someone wealthy. Now it's not even just women marrying wealthy men. Now you have, because I think Halle Berry maybe pay alimony. So you have some women that's paying alimony now. So people are getting money like that. So I don't know if that's what's meant by that. But yeah, so I can see where people would hook up to advance there. But see, then it's back to career. It's back to being successful. It's back to making money. If I hook up with this person, then I can have this kind of life.
Right.
So then I guess it comes back to um, I guess pursuing your career doesn't interfere with your relationship if your relationship is going to help you get to where you
Okay.
want to go.
You're right. That's true.
Yeah,
That's true. You're right
yeah.
about that.
Because then it really is a business thing. And if it's a business thing at that point, then why not go back to arranged marriages? Because
I'm
it's,
all for
it's,
it.
it's my understanding that a lot of arranged marriages were about business.
Yeah.
Our family join your family because we have money and we're
Uh-huh.
going to keep this money going.
Right.
Or, even when we're talking about, what do you call it? Royalty.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they're marrying each other so they can have an alliance. So, yeah.
But the good thing about that is there would be no Meghan Markle. There would be no
What do you
Meghan
mean?
Markle where she is if we kept it like that. I feel like that would keep each other grouped, people grouped in their little section. And so, a lot of people are not liking the fact that Meghan Markle is where she is, his family. They don't like
Because
it. And so they
she
never
didn't
would have
bring
made that arrangement.
she
And
didn't bring anything to the table. Is that what it is?
no, with her being black, Same
Oh, okay.
people who keep their money will keep their money. And there will be no opportunity for anybody else to work and get, to where they need to be or where they want to be. Megan would not be in the position that she is in right now had we been operating that in that manner.
Okay.
So,
You know what? So Miss Jones, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but Miss Jones clarified what she was saying. She said, "I mean the wedding industry. The average wedding in the U.S. is $45,000.
oh
They
wow,
will be selling the dream. People believe in the dream so much
wow,
they try to. I'm not sure what she was saying. 3 times, 2 or 3 times. I'm not sure about the last part, but you know what? I didn't think about that because remember how earlier I was saying how is it that we still grow up and the purpose seemed to be to seek that spouse or wanting to get married, wanting to have the wedding. But I guess that's it because some people do get married for the wedding.
yeah.
That very dream that Miss Jones is talking about. People do get married for that. They want, I don't
Mhm.
know. There have been times when I felt like, because right now, at my age, I don't think I want to be married again. But I do sometimes feel like I want that wedding. I want that ceremony because I eloped. So I didn't have the white dress. I didn't have the family and friends around me to support me during that day. But sometimes I do want that
So if you
that fairy tale.
so if you want it so bad, then why don't you just put together a party like they used to do my Super Sweet 16 and make you put on the show.
It's not the same. There's
You can
I
hire
don't
the man of your dreams to
I
be in
can't
your
look
wedding.
that out and anticipate getting to my prince or my king or whatever
You
with the
will.
tears running down and he looks at
You
me.
pay him the right amount, he will be all of that. You can put it together, make it happen.
Yeah. So, yeah, but Miss Jones definitely has a point. They are selling the dream. So I guess that's part of it because you think about these little girls, they're watching, well, and they're changing some of the fairy tales like Cinderella and where the princes had to prince had to come and save the princess. So they're really changing the narrative a little bit, but we still see some of those weddings where it's like, oh, I want to do that. I want what I see. And again, that might be back to the some of the divorce stuff where people got married for the wedding and not for the right reasons. And it was even suggested to me one time that um, love is overrated. And Megan, I don't know if you're still with us because I know Megan wanted to talk about love at one point, and we may uh, come figure out how we can discuss that as a topic. But they said love is overrated, and that people should just be getting together in partnership, and love shouldn't be the deciding factor. So now we're back to careers, business, being successful.
Well, I heard that you get with the right partner and the love will come.
Maybe.
I don't know. I don't know. I think it's more popular now that girls, how guys would have, different women and then they make their pick. I feel like women are doing the same thing. Like they have their guys and they take their pick or they don't. Or because I've heard people say uh, it takes, more than one guy to make the perfect man.
Oh, well, I've thought that myself. It's like, oh, I like this person. He has these qualities, and I like the qualities in this
Mhm.
person. If I could just make them one person, but I do you want the headache of trying to make two people happy or whatever?
Some people
But
do. Some people, I don't
yeah,
know. I don't know how.
so then my question would be back to what we're saying: does pursuing a career interfere with a relationship? So if you're doing that, trying to piece together a man, do you have time for your career? Do you have time to pursue your dreams or what, to be successful, whatever that looks like for you?
I think the only way to make it happen is you have to have a man that's on your level. If he's on your level, then y'all got probably about the same amount of time in the day to spend with each other. So if you're an entrepreneur and he an entrepreneur and y'all come together, when y'all can come together and y'all make it work, then that's okay. But if one has so much time, the other one has so little time, then one's gonna be upset because they are going, like you said earlier, they might feel a little ignored. Like they might not feel like they're gonna have the time to look at stuff that the other person don't have time to look at.
Okay, so I wanted to read a couple of the comments, but don't let me forget waiting to exhale. Let me come. I want to come back to that. But we have, it's going so fast, I'm missing it. Let me see if I can bring it back down. Um, so Miss Jones says, what do you think about saying true love asks for nothing? Her acceptance is the way we pay. And then Mr. Wells says, can it be combination? Love, partnership, friendship, companionship, etc.
Mm.
And then Miss Harris says she don't know. She's starting to think Oprah is right. She said focus on the business first. And Mr. Wells is saying, can there be a combination? It would be great to have the combination, but you have to start somewhere.
I think that's the problem because I think some things you work on together. Like, like maybe there's a little piece missing in a relationship, but together y'all grow, and that makes it even more success. And I think you bond even more together because y'all did that together. Y'all knew that there was a weak spot, and as a team, y'all built that bridge, and y'all got over it. And I think that's something. But I feel like people think you got to have this, you got to have that, you got to have. You can't have the person. Where's the combination at? And how much of the combination do they have to have? Because I think people want the whole perfect person to be perfect or almost perfect, and then you're not gonna find them.
Baby, that's why so many people single.
That's
Maybe they
it. That's
maybe
it.
they
You
giving
mad at
up
this
because
one
they
little
was like,
section of a.
they was like, I need this combination. I need all this thing in one
Yeah,
person. And they
yeah,
couldn't find it, so they just gave up instead of saying, look, how about we start with a friendship and we see if
yeah.
we can grow to have all those other things.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, find a mutual starting point and build from there. I agree again. Yep. And I think that's what you're saying. Find a starting point. Let's start somewhere and see where we can go from there. But so I was thinking about waiting to exhale, where it sounded like they didn't have anything together, but then he had his business, or he was growing his business, and she was there to support him in growing his business, and she made sacrifices for him, thinking she was making sacrifices for them. But then when he got the success he wanted, there was no more her.
Mm.
There was a somebody else.
Let me tell you something. I would never, never. No, no, thank you.
I,
It's a way to support without
without
sacrificing yourself.
giving up yourself.
No. Mm-mm.
Because Tanisha says, I am going to start loving myself so much that if there is a good partner for me, he will find me. But if they are not going to support my goals, then let an electric fence repel him. I'm with you. I am with you. And I like that. He will find you. You don't have to look for him. He will
I
find
believe
you.
that. I believe that. I do. But I want to be on y'all's page. But
What
I
do you
just
mean?
I want to at least have my intention out there. I want there to at least be an intention and at least some sort of preparation, like and know, and still I can be able to sit back and know that it's coming. I can sit back,
How about
do
this?
a little work on myself. I can sit back and start thinking about things like Instead of eating out, maybe you should cook more because there's gonna be a time when somebody's gonna be at the house waiting on you to cook. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe they cook for me, but I want to be able to give just as much into the relationship. So I'm looking at the things that I have to offer. So, like I said, the preparation stages, I don't think you should just say, "Well, I'm just gonna not even." I'm gonna travel, live my life. I don't know. I can't. I don't want to say that either. I see both sides. I really do.
So you said put your intentions out there. Let me comment on that.
Okay.
So I can live my life. I'm not gonna play. I am not about to be in nobody's kitchen cooking all the time. So if I'm not in the kitchen cooking and I'm eating out or I'm doing whatever, then my intention is to attract somebody that's okay with me not cooking. So how I live my life is going to be how I want to live my life. And as Tanisha was saying, the person that's okay with how I'm loving myself and how I'm living my life will be okay with that. They will find me and be okay. I don't have to play a role that's not really me, hoping somebody find me. Because then when he gets me, he gonna see that what he got wasn't real. Because I'm telling
But
you,
I guess
I'm not
I
doing
guess
it.
that we have an age difference because I still don't have any children. So when I say somebody's gonna be at home waiting to eat, my kid got to eat, and I don't want them eating out every day. So that's something like I want to grow them up healthy. That's something that I have to consider. Not that my
Okay.
husband that I'm getting ready to go cook for this man. Not, and
Oh,
I'm not
okay.
even saying it in that way.
I misunderstood. I misunderstood because I was thinking you were saying you had to learn to cook because a man wants somebody that can cook.
No,
I
I'm
thought
not. I
that's
ain't
what
even
you.
I'm not even focused on that. Mm-mm.
Okay, okay. So I'm glad you clarified that because hold on, wait a minute. You ain't gonna. I ain't gonna
I
try
just
to
want
be
to
the
make
woman
my
I think you want.
right.
I'm gonna be the woman you gonna get.
I just want to practice
That's
making a
it.
few healthy meals so that my family can eat healthy. That's all.
Yeah.
You
Hey.
know.
Okay. I'm sorry. We're on the same page.
Yeah.
Well, it
Let
says,
me
let me ask
roll
you
that.
clarification.
I
Who
know.
made what the man
I know.
cooking for you?
Sometimes, I get it. I get it. I did say it that way.
Mm, yeah, but I don't know. Hopefully, um, if you're equally yoked, if you're equally yoked, or you do attract somebody that's on your same level, meaning have the same goals and ambitions and they love themselves the way you love yourself before you get together to love each other. You have those ambitions, you have those things, similar goals and values, then hey, maybe you can grow together as you both pursue your career because then you can support each other. And I think I kind of heard Lindsay saying that. It sounds like two individuals came together.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't have a man looking for a woman to make him whole or a woman looking for a man to make him whole. They came together and added to each other.
Mm-hmm.
And so I guess when you can do that, when two people are comfortable with who they are as individuals, then I guess you don't really have to sacrifice the relationship because they understand how important your career and your ambition is to you.
Mm. Say that.
Because at some point you would get there, right?
Right. Right.
You want to continue to grow. And again, it depends on what success is to a person. So is success writing several books or is success just being an author? What is it?
Mm-hmm.
So
Say that, sister.
yeah, so it just depends because at some point you're gonna feel like you've arrived where you want to arrive. Now you may decide to pursue other goals. You may decide you want something different, but it may not require the level of sacrifice that it took for you to acquire the first thing in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty, so I guess it's time. It is time. It is time. It is time. According to the clock, I have 30 seconds left. So I want to thank everyone that was in the chat, chatting it up with us. As always, I
Yeah.
appreciate it. Miss Jones has been joining us for the last couple of times. I want to give you a thumbs up, Miss Jones. Love
Miss
you.
Jones.
I really appreciate you hanging in there and being consistent with us. And of course, there are probably some other people out there that kind of follow us. Miss Smith, she's usually on there every time. But if you don't say anything in the chat, then I don't know that you're out there. So I apologize if you've been committed to us and I just can't see you. But I
Like,
appreciate
share, and
everybody.
subscribe.
Huh?
Like, share, and subscribe.
Like, that's right. Like Promise Resource Network or subscribe on YouTube, Promise Resource Network, so you can get up with us every time we're on. That's every other Tuesday.
Tell your
So,
folks.
not next Tuesday, but the next Tuesday, we'll see you again. Any last words, Christina?
Tell your peoples about us.
Please do
Yes.
share on Facebook, tell your
Yes.
friends. The conversation is always so much more fun when there are people talking and chatting it up in the chat.
Let's hang.
Everyone be safe. Yes, YouTube, Miss Jones. Yes. Subscribe, Promise Resource Network on YouTube. Um, Everyone be safe. Again, thank you for joining us. Christina, take us out. Last words.
Adios, mi amigos.